I think that's a good suggestion, Mr. Chairman.
Of course,
Okay.
you have
All
to
right,
open
so-
the meeting first.
So why don't we open the meeting at 7:10 on January 13th?
Yeah, and we've got into the habit of introducing ourselves.
Okay. Tim Icardi?
Peter Coffey, Mike Mandolin,
Susan Cahalan, junior member.
Carl Hummel, no longer the junior member.
So we have a public hearing, so we want to get some of the signing out of the way?
sure.
Okay, so we have 16 Puffer Lane, Puffer Drive. So this is a certificate of compliance,
Yeah,
and I did have a conversation with Damon. Anyone else have a conversation? I guess this was an old one and an older
Yeah.
one, and everything has been
Right.
drawn in. So I don't know if we have to have a motion.
Why not? I'll make
Okay.
a motion to sign the certificate.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? So we have 8. So just pass this around.
Yeah.
$35K.
Did you see the old one?
Yeah, so we're passing around one here, so certificate of compliance for 35 Cape Road.
Oh, that.
So I'm not familiar with 35 Cape Road, let's see, so.
Solar farm, correct?
Oh, is this the solar farm?
That is correct.
Are you representing Cape Road?
Both are, yeah.
Okay. All right, so, did you submit your as-built as required?
We did.
You did. So you submitted them to the conservation office?
Correct.
And planning board?
And, I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I haven't seen any of the.
Is this the one next to Cape Road where the problem?
The next to the solar field.
It's next to the soccer field.
Next to the
Next to the
soccer
soccer
field.
field.
So a year ago, there had been some erosion that got away from these guys. Not half as bad as the adjacent side, but a little bit had gotten away. And I hadn't done my due diligence, and gone out and looked at it, but
Right.
That's correct. We've got some pictures if you want.
Yeah, I saw some aerial, I saw some drone footage, I think.
Yeah, the road and everything else like that, there's,
I'm not worried about the road, it was all the way at the end.
well, yeah, it started and went all the way down. We had that all redone, we dug it all out, we put, room, and we grassed it all out. We also put a new piping system along the side of the road, actually, we increased it, from what the original plans was. And it's all brand new, I have some pictures that it's brand new, and, them digging out, I don't know how many yards of, muck that we took out of there, but they put brand new, they went down to wherever they had to go, they put, loom down there and they seeded it.
Does the as-built reflect the improvement?
I honestly, I do not know, because I have not seen it,
It does.
does?
Yeah.
I guess I have no problem, because if it gets away again, we have authority to go in and say, hey, that, you got a problem there that you try to fix it, but it's getting sus. I'm not sure why it happened, whether it was just
It's just
a
the,
big rain event and it was construction.
it was a massive rain event.
We had, I think sometime during, I was the site super on it, I think sometime during the summer in June or July or August, you guys had like 6 inches of rain, and it wasn't, the field itself wasn't fully stabilized.
Yeah.
And it just, all that silt just came right down. I mean, you can tell by the pictures, there's all grass, even though I just took them this morning. Underneath the panels, there's no snow, so you can see the
Do you have
grass.
them printed?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, why don't you bring one? Pass them around. So do you represent the owner of the field?
I don't know.
No.
We're both with Parade.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to hand it off to the owner.
I guess having said that, and with verification that they've done the work,
Well, I think gentleman didn't run away from the problem, so if something happens again, I'm sure that.
You know where they are, the owner is buying it, knows that this is happening.
I think they're trustworthy.
Have a look.
Pictures. The drone footage was very helpful because it demonstrated that this location was not just coming from the solar farm, but from the property just north of where you are,
Right.
which was very helpful in resolving that situation.
Oh, that was all the way in the backside. Yes, because I remember that call because I went to the neighborhood in the back.
Yep.
And I talked to a couple of them.
Yeah, we were able to see very clearly that the color of the silt that was in the neighbor's yard was matching the north property, not the silt that was
right.
coming on yours.
I'm going to make a motion. Well, go ahead.
Did you want Jim to explain those pictures of what you're looking at, and where they
If you
are?
want me to explain so I can,
No, I went on and looked at it.
Okay, you know what you're looking at, okay.
So I'll make a motion to, again, a certificate of compliance for solar
35 Cape Road.
35 Cape Road.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not opposed? Okay.
okay?
Yeah, so we'll pass this around and sign it, and you'll be able to get the copies so you can record it.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking care of it.
Yeah, not, listen, we're here to stay, trust me.
At least another 18 years.
Yeah. I got another 5 years left, so.
Someone else will take the last
Yeah.
one.
Let me release it.
Have a good evening, people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a copy of that, or?
So there'll be one available for you.
So it's got to be notarized by the.
Excellent, okay.
Town clerk, you-
Okay, and you've got my contact information there listed? I think the Parks Rec guy.
I
Oh, okay.
don't notarize the certificates of compliance. I'm waiting for you guys to sign the 10 Southwick.
That's next, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
We had to wait till 7.
Yeah, so we can open it now for 7:15. Thank you, guys. For the certificate of compliance for the public hearing for the Town of Mendon Conservation Commission to sign the so this is for the restriction for the Blue
Yes.
Family Village Trust?
Yep. Anne's
All
on
right.
here if she needs to speak to it.
She probably should.
And
Hi, Ann, are you available?
And you're still muted.
Hi,
There you go.
yeah, I know. Hi, this is the restriction that's on the Southwick property, the one you've looked at several times. It's, because, land in, Uxbridge had some issues, and so they had to, preserve land in another location with the same, species that they disrupted. And so this is the conservation restriction for that. And it abuts the Mendon Forest.
What was the species, Ann? Do you know?
I think it was a salamander.
So Ann, remind me, we have a lot of situations in town. So the town is going to hold the development easement. Is Metacomet involved as like inspector or who's?
No, the Brewers will own the property and the Conservation Commission holds the conservation restrictions. So once a year, you'll monitor it.
Okay, so we're going to play that role of monitoring.
Yep.
Gotcha, okay. And there's no sum of money that comes along with that monitoring? We're doing that pro bono just because we're good people.
Well, there was an amount put into an account, wasn't there,
I
originally?
don't know because it's the Conservation Commission that really talked with the lawyer. So I don't know what the arrangement was. I was just trying to help get the conservation restrictions signed because they knew.
Negotiated.
No, so,
Who negotiated?
it was Joe Antonellis came in, he represented Fafford,
Yeah.
and they were looking for the.
And Brewers.
And the Brewers. And there was supposed to be monies put in an account. But we'll look into that, but it has nothing to do with this. but-
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm assuming that the Mendon Town Council looked at the conservation restriction. Do you know if it was passed by them?
Was that part of the deal?
Town council, I think, yes, well, they were bouncing it back and forth. It was, I thought it had been approved by town council before we even,
Yeah,
or no, we approved the concept.
Why don't we sign it, and then before we release it, we'll just make sure that the money was put in the account, because there was an agreement made. So, but why don't we get it signed and ready, and then, we'll make
But not release it yet.
we'll make a few phone calls just to make sure.
Put that in motion.
Sounds
Is that
good.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter, put that in motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the conservation restriction or the role that we have to do. But let's just not issue it until we've determined, verified the agreement and if there's any monies due.
Second?
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay. Ellen, you good with that?
Okay. So will you guys put that in my mailbox, or where's it gonna go?
Yeah,
I
we'll put
have, I have the original document.
so we'll put it in your mailbox, and then, we just need to get a copy of it after.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Ellen.
Remember, this
You're
is
welcome.
not released until we,
Right. Ellen, you'll hold it until we just verify everything.
Yeah, I will hold it for you.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm still waiting for select board signatures anyway.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
thanks for hanging in there.
Hey, I haven't signed yet. You have to watch.
I can't see you, Carl. There you go. There he is.
Susan's signing it now.
The camera keeps moving because it only looks at the person who's talking.
really, smart cake.
All right, I've seen you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
So,
What's this gentleman here for?
Mr. Dave Allaire, 69 Tinsley Lane. I've got 2 trees that are within 20 feet of Lake Nipmuc. That's, I guess I need to have conservation approval in order to cut them.
are they diseased? Is that what's going on?
They're dead. They're big oaks. They're starting to rot out in the middle. One of them had 3 limbs, and one of them has already started to fall, so it's,
I went and looked at them, they gotta come down.
Yeah.
It's a safety hazard.
yeah, they're gonna come down if I don't take them out.
Thank you for coming in. But,
I think I need, I filled out the form, the Wetland Protection Act form.
I don't think you need that
Well,
in
so
this case, right?
We'll give you a negative determination, so somebody want to make a motion? What's the address?
69 Kinsley.
69, I'll move that we determine that there will be no impacts as long as you fell the trees so they don't go into the lake, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Well, do the best you can.
Do we say the usual thing about don't rub the stump?
Are you gonna grind the stumps, or are you just gonna cut it as low as possible, or?
Rather you didn't grub this.
I'm not gonna grub, no, I'm not grubbing this. No, I'll cut it down probably to grade.
You can grind them, but you just digging them out is the.
No, I won't be digging them out, no, absolutely.
Okay.
It'll be a mess if.
Okay.
Could I have one of you just sign the
Yeah,
form?
so you can bring the form up, so do we have a second?
Yes, I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
I,
I still need a copy of this one.
No, because this is not going to be formal.
It's not gonna be filed.
It's not going to be filed.
You voted for a negative determination.
Okay.
You gonna do the work with the chainsaw or tree service?
No, I'm having a good impression.
So when your neighbor calls, we'll let them know that.
Let them know about that. They'll-
Well, they're required, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which company you use?
Stanley?
Okay.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
As long as there's no spotted owls.
For salamanders.
The salamander.
so now it's my house, so we'll.
And don't crash the tree on it, on turtles.
Oh, do we have minutes?
We still have anonymous concern for 10 Swandale Drive earthworks.
10 Swanville.
That's been hanging around for a while. We should take another look. Vegetation is more. Does anyone want to call?
So it can be viewed from his property? Okay.
Yeah.
Is somebody going to
I
look at it?
think this person has called before,
Mhm.
has voiced his concerns about it, and,
Is this the one that we
Yes.
looked at?
Yeah,
Okay, yes. We looked at it from across the stream in the full growth, and you could see it was close whether there was work done within 50 feet. I'm forgetting, but it was definitely within 100 feet. You know, they put it in a path and there was some piles of stuff and it was a former selectman, I believe, right? So it's not as if he's not unknowing of the rule, but probably believes that he wasn't impacting and he didn't need to give notice by putting in a trail within 100 foot of, it's not just a well, it's.
a stream.
It's muddy brook, yeah.
It's a river.
Yeah.
Was he in there with a machine?
No, he's just, I don't know what the pile, I forget what the pile, were, old construction or wood piles, it was neat. And so there's no erosion, so it wasn't impacting the resource. But I think the neighbor who owns a lot of land, he'd like to have trails and he's doing farming and might want stuff. And so why do I gotta do it this way and this guy doesn't have to do?
Did you want to do another site visit now that the vegetation's off? Is that what you were, heading to?
Probably should be.
Was it
I
hard
think
to
just
see?
to turn up the heat a little bit.
Yeah.
Because did we request for him to come and talk to us?
I was talking before, you were sending.
It was time of COVID, so I don't really fault people for not, but I guess it's incumbent on us to follow through, you know. You and I have made a determination and
Yeah.
we need to take it to the next step. I'm not saying we need to bring in hardcore, but,
Yeah, we need to do a letter. I don't think that, anyone's.
or
particularly
we should
assigned.
do a letter and ask him if we could schedule a site visit. That would be the other thing. If he's not gonna come in, we go to him.
We have a hybrid meeting, he doesn't have to come.
We can get on Zoom. And do we have pictures that was sent by the neighbor that we could share to get the?
He did send
There's some
discussion going?
drone photos, yeah.
Some drones, just so, you know, that would be easiest perhaps. Invite him to our next meeting via Zoom or somehow.
The complainant or
The plaintiff, but we should alert the person who complained, because I don't think,
Oh, yeah.
the, well, he was in here before.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
a
was at
couple
a
months
meeting
ago.
before.
Do we have an admin or are we still?
We'll do,
Wait, I didn't say that's gonna volunteer.
we do have one.
They hired a clerk,
Yeah.
and I believe she's gonna start next week,
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's great.
according to Dan.
Dan, we have a,
He's not here downstairs.
He's in the water meeting.
oh, okay.
well, could I impose on you as your last active clerk?
No, it's fine.
Maybe-
I don't have the address and the name, so.
No, that's
I can
right,
take
just
care of
drop the
it.
letter, the text, so that when our clerk comes on board next week, she can review the minutes and she can follow through and produce a formal letter and clear it with that chair verbally, and we can get it out next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, just let me know the name and the addresses and I can do that.
What's the name of the address?
Well, it's 10 Swandale,
10 Swandale,
was the
right.
one that was disturbing the area. And then the other one is Cemetery Street.
Right.
The
Mr.
neighbors,
Stewart.
so we'll have to do a little research, I can work with,
Stewart,
yes.
Yes, that's right.
David
Yep.
Stewart.
David Stewart, yes.
and Kenneth O'Brien. Yeah.
Okay. I can find his name. I mean.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so,
We don't have minutes to approve, perhaps,
okay.
I don't know.
I've taken notes for the last couple of meetings, I just haven't typed up yet.
Okay.
That's on my list.
That's fine.
What about 106 Millville? Any
Oh,
status
that's,
of
Any updates?
Oh, that's the,
Cease and desist and all that stuff.
at the old Kelly homestead.
I haven't seen anything on that. Have you heard anything?
No, I'm sure they'd be able to have seen something if something came through.
I know they haven't been doing anything.
Make a note to, we can, Ernest Collin is the,
Oh, that's right.
he's the, we could drop him a line asking him for an update on the situation.
That's it on the agenda.
I just have a topic of discussion, I have another. Cape Road, evidently we're going to hear next meeting from the new buyers who are banging out a determination of the wetland line, and that's good. And there'll be a whole process, and the neighbors are all up in arms.
Yeah.
I still don't want to let go of the existing owner who made a major boo-boo by scraping the hillside clear and not putting up any erosion control or limited erosion control and causing damage to a resource that has never been documented because we didn't get formal permission to attend. Well, now we have formal permission to go on site. And I would recommend that, I know she volunteered, if she still volunteered, the DEP circuit rider. But the last time, a year ago when we were discussing this, she said, well, if you get formal permission, invite me along and I can come. So it's not the time of year to do a site visit.
No,
But,
especially with the storm coming.
but I don't know how, and we could just, and it seems to me like maybe the board doesn't want to get involved because it's going to get cleaned up by the new owner, but that deal might not go through, and even if it does go through.
We should get, I believe we should get, at least pay attention to what's happening. So, yeah, we should be involved. Whether or not we pick up a sword and charge right in there, is another story. Till we get all of it.
Well, I guess as long as it's not actively eroding, you say, no, we don't have to do anything. Don't try to punish the landowner who did bad. He's gonna sell and get out. And if he doesn't, well, then maybe go after him, but, I don't
This is the
know.
warehouse, the proposed warehouse?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I don't, I would like to do a site walk, but I know it's not the time either, so
How big's the warehouse then?
it's
Huge.
like twice the size of Coles or something. Some reason.
Large enough that they're thinking of offering us a fire truck.
well, high enough, over the height limit, if they want to go 40 feet or something.
So what is it gonna be?
A big Amazon distribution warehouse.
Is it located?
No, but the company that is thinking of buying it, if you look at them on their, they have built many other web buildings
Something
the
similar.
same size.
Are we
on
talking
Amazon, other locations.
150,000 square feet
We're
or?
talking bigger than any other.
About twice that.
Think of Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart.
Is it in front of planning board right now?
Yes.
I think so.
Well, number one, it's a planning board issue what goes there. We can only deal with wetland issues.
Yep.
So the issue before us is the mess that's happening. We can't get involved whether,
But they don't want to get into it. For that process, the issue before us, do we agree with the wetland line?
right,
And so we've hired Duchesne, but we should have hired Duchesne to document the erosion that got away, that could still happen. But that's a different person who's paying the engineer, right? But the buyers, they're just doing their due diligence to see if they want to buy the property. They're not gonna go into negotiating what the fix is until they own it. And I can't blame them. And so they're aware of it. And I don't know if there is a fix or how much it needs to be fixed. It's,
Well, let me phrase it this way. Regardless of who the property owner is, does the Conservation Commission want to get down on paper what we believe needs to be done to the site before any construction takes place?
I would say the minimum that we should have is documentation of the damage done to the resource.
Well, they're gonna.
And whether we have to do that or we shouldn't have to do that, right?
They're gonna come in for an NOI, right?
After they come in with this delineation, yes, they will come
That's
in
why
with,
they're delineating.
right.
So, we're gonna have all the opportunity at that point, after they bring in if they're doing an ANRAD, or, you know.
The NOI is not going to document the erosion.
No, it's not, but we can request it at that time, because we know it's an existing problem.
Yeah, and that can be 6 months from now. But yes, yes, we're waited a year.
Right.
Yeah,
But I mean, you know,
It's always been one
at least we
growth.
can have the conversation.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think what Peter was trying to, which I, on one hand, I agree with you. Should we go after the present owner to get it on record? You know,
I would be to
because
go after the president in order to document the problem.
because
Not go after him to fix it,
Well-
not go after him to
Well-
penalize, but first step.
again, if we bring the DEP in, somebody buying it shouldn't pay a fine for what he's buying in the cellar if he's going like this, and
Yeah, it's a liability.
He's, right now, he's trying to wrap himself in Teflon.
Do you guys have the name of the DEP person that was involved?
The woman who she attended our meeting, yes, I don't remember her name.
So it's probably
Probably our
in
minutes.
somewhere.
From a year ago. I'll try
Okay,
to
check
get
them.
Check it out, maybe we could give her a call and see what she suggests.
There you go.
Right, yeah.
There we go.
So what we would require the current owner to do is to pay DeShang or someone else to go in and just say what the existing problem is and not have to pay to say how he would fix the problem.
That, the minimum is to define the issue. And then if we think it needs fixing, say, okay, now we want to see a restoration. Or, okay, maybe it's not so bad, the new owners can do this when that, kind of, I propose an iterative process. But
Well, here's the thing. There is a risk that the sale will not go through. So I want to, when we talk to the current owner, completely ignore whether the fact that he may or may not be selling. We
Right.
don't care about that. We
Right,
want
that's,
him
that's
to
a
do-
whole different issue.
The first thing we want him to do is document the existing condition. After that comes back, then if he has not sold the property, we say, now you have to come up with a document that how you will fix the problem. And that may incentivize him to sell the property.
It'd be kind of tough to do it now, especially if it's ice and snow covered, you know, until the stuff goes away to see.
But I believe that there is
it would
value.
be a little different,
Yeah,
but
silt, to see the silt.
I'm agreeing with Peter that there's value in communicating to the current owner that we now have been authorized to get access to the site, and therefore we're shocked to see that there's a problem, and he now has to pay money to get it documented.
I'm wondering if we do the two-step. One is DeShang has already been on site, right? We haven't seen his report, or there's been a report, some back and forth, but we haven't seen it. I'm wondering if we could ask informally DeShang, hey, there was this problem in the past. You've been out there, could you document it, or what would it cost to do that? It might be an extra, but that's,
Well, I agree with that, but I think our best bet is to find the name of that DEP person.
and ask her.
Is that from like a year ago?
Explain to her,
Yes.
explain to her, hey, we don't know. I'm looking at, correct me if I'm wrong, I think somebody did something and they should own up to it. And again, this is a bad term, but pay the penalty. Whether it's a penalty or not, but they should own up to it and say. Now, if he corrects it by saying, hey, I gotta buy him, blah, 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 and it's part of his plan to do this, okay, but we got this guy and we're holding him responsible. For starters, not, he's gonna all of a sudden disappear and he's chuckling to the bank going, I got out of that one.
All right, do you want to empower me to try to talk with DEP?
Sure.
And get that
I'll
recommendation?
make a motion.
And then I'll bring it back, or also maybe give Deshang a call and say, hey,
I
kind
think we should
of,
probably touch base
both
with
of those.
Shang and
Yes.
see, before you call DEP, maybe ask him.
what has he done, or
What have you found? What's your findings?
All right, I'll make those 2 calls. And we're meeting, what, in 2 weeks? Is that-
Yeah, 20.
Unless we cancel the meeting.
Well, Cape Road has been proposed, right, or they just can't postpone it?
Yeah, they postponed it, yeah.
So we don't, they could postpone it again.
Well, I believe we're,
So I would reach out to Deshang first. And
I know.
find out what his, see what his findings.
he might, I mean, I trust the same judgment. If he says, you know what, it's.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
I
Okay.
have a question for the audience.
I believe they postponed tonight to attend the Oakdale Water Board meeting to address a different issue, because they couldn't be in 2 places at once.
But that they're ready to go perhaps, or that they want to go, is time they're pushing, or?
I think why, I don't know if somebody was speaking to them, I think that's because I just was with them on the call, so I'm assuming they'll be back at the next meeting.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter, I'll try to get an answer and make those calls
I
before our
saw
next
that draft
meeting.
report. You guys didn't see it?
Well, is there a draft report?
Yeah, I can forward it right now.
There's one printed
Because I
copy
have
somewhere.
to, I have to log out myself.
Yes.
There's a printed copy.
I mean, that's, my correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, but that's the ultimate goal is to identify the responsible. party.
Yes, yes.
Is it there?
I'll try to.
Not him going, hey, I got out of here.
Yes, this is.
Well, I mean, we've held other people for other things and other reasons responsible.
Yeah, this is from Deshang.
You can know who the responsible party is. The question is documenting what the wrong is and then prepare for righting the wrong. And whether the wrong is righted by the current owner or a future owner, we don't care.
Yeah, he's gonna have to file it in a lot to correct anything, so.
And due diligence on the part of the buyer will undoubtedly, I mean, it's not tortuous interference for us to tell the future buyer, yeah, there's a mess here that may impact your purchase price and your selling price.
If it's serious enough, the DEP might put him in jail.
I don't know.
I hope not. I've never heard of someone being, it's not a civil, it's not a criminal. No, it's only criminal if you're fraudulent. The guy, it's a civil case. Take fines, you don't go to jail unless you yell at your judge. All that's wrong. Well, he's got in bold, in conclusion, is our professional opinion that the Mill Plain Brook is a perennial stream which shall be considered as a river. I think that's the main issue in arguments between them. Well, let me check that follow-up on this, because he says this is the first, so I don't know if it's typically going to be another if they go back and forth.
Shane's like that.
I like that check.
I think that's everything that I see on the
Who
agenda.
knows this? Yeah, you can deal with him from.
Well, Mr. Chair, do you have any other things you want to discuss?
No, there's nothing else, there's no minutes, so we just wanted to.
So we're going to have a clerk starting next week. Thank you so much for supporting us,
Yes, thank you
Myra.
very much.
You've
Yeah, I have my own.
been right there when we need you.
So do I have a motion to,
I'll make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
all there?
I,